Love to eat turkey, 'cause it's good. Love to eat the turkey like a good boy should, 'cause it's turkey to eat so good.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 4, Episode 8 Pangs, written by Jane Espenson and directed by Michael Lange, is the Thanksgiving episode of the series. Thanksgiving episodes of shows tend to be really strange, as Thanksgiving's positive traits of honoring family and the bounty are better served in Christmas episodes, where some deeper meaning can be integrated into the plot. And all you have left is football, some propaganda about pilgrims and Native Americans getting along that pretty much everyone knows is fake, and some potentially offensive costumes. So how could a supernatural action show like Buffy benefit from a Thanksgiving episode? What's the point? Well, in addition to the fact that they already had a Christmas episode, commentary on the holiday itself, discussions of its controversy, and ultimately honoring it as an American tradition. Even though Jane Espenson is the writer, I'm going to say that the episode's politics are Joss Whedon's, because he is the showrunner. Joss has had a lot of problems with his depictions of race and cultures other than American or English, and this comes out in full with this aggressive defense of American Thanksgiving, and by extension, white colonialist imperialism, against Native American criticism, or at least white people advocating for Native Americans, as it's unclear if he really realizes the extent to which Native people are still around today. The very first scene has an evil vampire say to Buffy that things were great before she got there, and why couldn't she just go back where she came from? The scene plays it as just bad guy banter, but within the context of the episode's thesis, it's understandable as the sentiment expressed by Native Americans, or white people advocating for them about white colonialists. By having Buffy stake him, Joss dismisses the idea. Buffy is the white colonialist who should be there because of manifest destiny or something. The plot gets going when Xander falls in a hole and accidentally disturbs the remains of a Chumash settlement, triggering a vengeance spirit haunting manifestation that gives Xander every awful disease that white people attack natives with. You know, white people massacred them, so their anger at white people manifests into this magical Terminator to go out and lynch white people just for being white. It's the idea that any kind of cultural discontentment is just unjustified prejudice against a race, just for having biological markings. Instead of a complex assortment of cultural traits, entitlement issues, and oppressive laws built up over generations. And it's unclear if Joss even realized that there are thousands of Chumash people still around today. They're just constantly framed as people massacred in the past. So it seems like his issue was with white people talking on their behalf. In the beginning of the episode, there's a white woman talking about the new cultural center, honoring the melting pot of American culture. This is the good thing that the episode puts forward, what the good white Americans want. When the Native American spirit kills her out of vengeance for what white people did in general to his people, it's a crime against an innocent. She was a good white person promoting cultural diversity, and he is the prejudiced native who can't handle peace because he's just so angry. Buffy can't wait for Thanksgiving because she appreciates the trappings and the sentiment of honoring family. She wants to hold a big dinner at Giles's place, where all the Scoobies can gather as a family. She has to argue with Willow, who represents the white people arguing on the behalf of natives. Willow has all sorts of political ideas about how horrible Thanksgiving is, based on her mother's rhetoric. Her mother was used in Season 3, Episode 11, Gingerbread, to make fun of people who parent based on theory, instead of actually getting to know their kids. She's kind of a liberal caricature, so Willow channeling her makes her just there as a political mouthpiece to be dismissed. Giles just represents English people who don't care about Thanksgiving. He's there for Buffy, so he lets her put on Thanksgiving at his place, but he's kind of neutral on the subject. He doesn't agree with Willow, but he doesn't press the point until Willow interferes with Buffy's slaying. Willow doesn't think that Buffy should slay the spirit because Willow thinks he's justified in his anger. She also kind of indicates that he's the last surviving remnant of the Chumash people, which isn't even close to true. They're still around, but Willow thinks that Buffy slaying him would be a white imperialist act, squashing their last remaining will on this world. Willow thinks that the people has value, and that Buffy should negotiate with the spirit, which is presented as a totally stupid idea, because the spirit's species makes him just a mindless vengeance machine, a vengeance spirit. Finally, Spike comes in as the voice of reason. He's a soulless monster completely outside of American politics or ethics concerns, and that is presented as giving him some kind of objective standpoint that the American characters lack. The pacing of the scene makes it seem that he is absolutely right, and we should all listen to him. And what he says is that the colonialists bulldozed over the natives just like any conquerors throughout history, that it's justified because that's just what these kinds of nations do, a consequentialist philosophy that doesn't really make sense. I can understand Spike as a psychopath not caring about those crimes, but that doesn't make it ethically permissible. He goes on to say that there is nothing Willow could say to make the spirit forgive her people, so it makes sense to kill him because he's a problem, essentially saying that white Americans shouldn't do anything for Native people or apologize to them, such as through reparations, because conquerors gotta conquer, and those who complain are just problems to be dismissed. Xander agrees with Spike, and if Xander, the guy who hates vampires, agrees with Spike, then they all agree with Spike. Giles even tries to save face by saying that he was arguing that before Spike said anything. When the spirit attacks, Willow futilely tries to negotiate, and as she fails, it underlines Spike's words. The spirit is killed, and they have their happy Thanksgiving unimpaired by angry natives. Joss goes on to make Firefly, whose villains, the Reavers, are based thematically on the Apache people. You know, Joss, this is why people don't like you.